And say, maybe winning will require suffering. Trust me, all these years and nothing's ever changed. I say, I hate you, I'll quit you, you're playing, I watch you. Ooh, the playoff drought goes tonight. Ooh, even when they're letting in 24, we are never, ever, ever getting back to the playoffs. We are never, ever, ever getting back to the playoffs. You make your decisions, cause you know more than me. But we are never, ever, ever getting back to the playoffs.
Folks, welcome back. We got a brand new episode of Trainwreck tonight, episode 173. I'm your host, Degenerate, joined by Maniac. Another beautiful day here in Buffalo, New York. Show sponsor, Pazda Electric.
Folks, considering a residential or commercial electrical project, then consider our friends at Pazda Electric, 716-698-2711. From new house wiring, main service upgrades to troubleshooting issues, Pazda Electric licensed and insured all over Erie County. Mention Trainwreck Sports or say this train never stops and get a free house surge protector with every service upgrade. Pazda Electric, 716-698-2711.
Tonight, we have a very special guest joining Trainwreck tonight. We have Melody Martin on Twitter and YouTube. It's at Melody and Martin. And the operation of tonight's show, get her to 10K on YouTube, get her to 2K on Twitter. Melody, how are you tonight?
I'm doing great, guys. How are you doing?
We're doing fantastic. Maniac, how are you?
We're doing good. I mean, I guess in a Sabres world, no news is good news. But like I said, I was talking to you guys in the pre-show. I do feel a little bit like the Squidward meme where he's watching outside and SpongeBob and Patrick are like running, having fun. And Squidward is just in like his domicile, like looking depressed. I mean, I feel like that's Sabres right now. We're in our domicile and we're depressed.
Yeah, and it's one of these things where how long are we going to be without Sabres hockey for? I mean, the next season's not starting in October. There's no chance at that. So we could be without Sabres hockey till 2021, Melody?
I mean, as much as that sucks, that may also not be a bad thing. I mean, the Sabres have given me way too much stress over the past 9 years, so maybe it's a well-deserved break for all of us fans.
I like that. Let's face it. Let's just stop hockey as long as we can without losing the next season. I think that's actually brilliant. Yes. What's going to happen? Are they going to play? Is that somehow going to be better? And let's face it, guys. The last time the Sabres had a long break, the last time they took a long snooze, they came out gunning. Drury, Briere, Roy, Finnegan, Fanek. Let's go. Maybe that could be the revitalization. Maybe Victor Olofsson comes back and he's 325 pounds of pure muscle and he's just dropping 80-mile-per-hour missiles top shelf.
Just absolute piss missiles, bar down. Gives Kevin Adams an opportunity to make some big moves in this offseason, hopefully.
Kevin with a Y. That's my guy. That's our guy, Al.
Yeah. So, Melody, real quick, let's get into your background. How has your quarantine been going these past, 3-4 months?
It's been going pretty good. I mean, haven't had a lot to do. I've been playing a lot of NHL, a lot of Madden, a little bit of NBA, which I didn't know that I liked until quarantine. So
okay.
I'm a big NBA fan now. But yeah, just a whole lot of nothing, and I'm loving it so far.
Yeah. Are you team PS4 or team Xbox?
I'm Xbox right now. I've been PlayStation for a long time. Then I switched over to Xbox, and kind of regretting it a little bit, but it's fine.
All right. Yeah, I mean,
I started on the Xbox back in the days, and just for no reason, I've never looked at switching. Anytime that someone tells me Xbox, the Xbox One, the Xbox 360, anyone tells me that's the right way to go, I just listen to them. I mean, it's like, I hate to say it, but I've turned a blind eye to the PlayStation.
Yeah, I mean, because of quarantine, I got the PS4. I haven't had one in probably 8-9 years, and I had to pull the trigger on this one and get a PS4, and it was the best decision I've ever made. Love it. NHL, Call of Duty, a little bit of Madden. So that's been definitely taking up some of my time during the evenings.
And we got to say right now, because there's a lot of dilemma yesterday on Bill's Twitter, just switching lanes real quick, about the leaked Madden ratings. Right now, there's some rumor whether they're true or not.
Ooh.
And then you had Sal Majorana coming out today, and he goes, you people talking about your video games, go read a book. And I'm sorry, I just couldn't disagree more. It was different in the way you were raised. When his generation was raised, and I'm not trying to age him here, reading a book was gaining wisdom. It was gaining, some intellect. It was a very respected process. Now you can go on a Wikipedia page. You can watch a YouTube video. And yes, you can play a video game. That's a way to stress release. And that's what we all need during this quarantine.
I mean, and when it comes to reading books, the only reason why I did it when I was younger was because, one, my mom kind of told me to, and two, reading at night made me tired. Now, being in my 20s, almost 30, crazy to say, I'm tired at night. I don't need a book to put me to sleep. I did that in middle school because, reading those pages, all those lines, made me fall asleep quicker. But other than that, yeah, you're right. I'm not reading books anymore. No chance.
Melody, not to get too intrusive on your personal day-to-day, but how do you go to sleep? I'm a person, throw on a little Netflix, let it play, fall asleep with it in the background. That's my style.
Yeah, I'm pretty much the same way. Like, I have trouble falling asleep without something kind of in the background. Sometimes it's YouTube, sometimes it's Netflix. But yeah, definitely can't just be a shut the lights off and go to bed kind of person. Doesn't work.
No, and the way I go to bed, though, noise-wise, I'm not playing – I mean, Maniac loves playing The Office in the background. That's not my – I really can't fall asleep to the TV playing. It's just a loud fan. That's all I need. Crank it to medium typically. Low's a little too low. It's got to be on medium because I'll hear Timmy in the morning, like cranking 97 Rock, or he's just firing up the car at 6:30 a.m. for no reason.
I was going to say, you don't fall asleep to the radio.com app, WGR, replay that morning's Howard Simon, Al?
I used to. I used to fall asleep to Freddie Coleman back in the middle school, high school days.
Freddie Coleman, like, how many times were you driving through like a whiteout snowstorm with nobody on the road? Just listen, Freddie Coleman here.
Yeah, and those 2020 updates for sports. Get me to 10:20. Get me to 10:40. Who won tonight? You know what I mean? NBA.
Are the updates on the 30s now? I mean, I listen like so much on the radio.com app. I mean, I'm not even familiar anymore. I feel like they are because they used to definitely be on the 20s on WGR. I feel like they've shifted to a bigger break on the 30s.
That's a great question. I'll be honest. I'm not the biggest radio person anymore. I'm not. I really when am I tuning into Kiss 98.5 or Star 102 or WGR 550?
You are a huge Nicholas Pickles guy. Don't come in here and be like, oh, when am I getting my Kiss in? You go for your morning walk and you're throwing on Janet Snyder and Nick. Don't joke around, Al.
No, I used to be a big DJ Anthony guy. Kiss 10 of 10.
That is true. Respect to DJ Anthony, Buffalo, it's going down. Wegmans, chicken's on special.
Oh, my God. All right, so let's shift here real quick. Melody, we got to get your thoughts. Thoughts on the current Sabres situation right now. Because that's big. Because they're out of the playoffs. Like Maniac said, you're in that SpongeBob episode, from the outside, looking in. What can this team do next?
Recently, for the past 9 years, when the playoffs have rolled around, I haven't even really been that upset that we're not. I've been upset about it, but it's not like I'm getting jealous of the other teams. I'm just kind of enjoying the playoffs, whatever. This year specifically, I am so upset that we're not in it, just because you're seeing all these teams coming back, and it's really cool. And the NHL's putting up all these hype videos, and there we are, 2 points out, not seeing our team for months. And no. I'm getting serious FOMO over this.
I stand by our Melody, because I recorded a show with Dwayne and Tristan yesterday, and they were trying to talk like the disappointed parents. I'm happy that we didn't make the playoffs. No. Don't even say that. Don't even be like, oh, the Sabres didn't fill out their permission slips. They don't just don't try to be that condescending man. If you're telling me you can flip the switch and put the Sabres in the playoff picture right now, again, a 3-game matchup against the Maple Leafs, you wouldn't be pumped. We played them great this year. I heard it in the 81 Positives video. We have a good home record against them.
We do. It's true. Yeah. And plus, even if we didn't win a round, we get a 12% chance at first overall. So, I mean, yeah, I'm dying. It's crazy. Shout
out Hillary Duff, best of both worlds.
I mean, Maniac, weren't we going nuts a month or two ago when that news came out that we thought we were making the playoffs?
When the original news story came out, Melody, do you remember that, where for a couple days the Sabres were in the hypothetical 24 team group, and then they came out a couple days later and they were like, the Sabres are out? Because that was the time. Everybody had that time to be like, I don't even want the Sabres to be in there. And so people really showed their alignment. And then obviously now we're on the outside looking at it. It's very disappointing. And obviously it's most disappointing for our current superstar, Jack Eichel.
Yeah, and I don't want to make the playoffs this year because we won't have home fans. Like, I mean, if you have a chance to get a gift to get into playoffs, you take it. I mean, it's just like, it's so crazy. Like you said, Melody, we were 2 points out this year for making it. I'm pretty sure that following weekend they were playing the Rangers after COVID and this virus hit. And then what? Over the past couple of years, you have the Vegas Golden Knights, an expansion team, dominating and making the playoffs. So it's just the backstabbing continues to go, and we're approaching double-digit seasons without making the playoffs.
Oh, gross.
It's just, I don't know. So real quick, I wanted to ask you, were you first an Avalanche fan?
Well, so I was always a Sabres fan, right? But
Okay.
when I was a little kid, like 4 years old, purple was my favorite color. I saw this Joe Sakic action figure doll thing in a toy store, and I gravitated toward that. And then so because of that, I decided that Colorado was going to be my favorite team. But then once I kind of realized that, okay, we're in Buffalo, Buffalo's our team, then I never looked back from there. But for the first few years of my life, I definitely watched Joe Sakic and Forsberg and Waugh and all those guys.
First off, this is why you tune into Trainwreck tonight. We're asking the hard questions. Melody and Martin, OG Avalanche fan, and two other things. First, that was like your Ovechkin stage when he's wearing the Sabres Letterman jacket. You were that young. And if I walked into a Toys R Us and I saw a Joe Sakic action figurine and like an Alexei Zhitnik one or a Stu Barnes, I would take the Joe Sakic one every time. So thank goodness we have regionalization, so we actually have Sabres fans, because if it was just action figures, we would be in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, and it's so funny. Growing up, I mean, I don't know if you know this about me, but when I was like 6, 7, 8, 9, I would write letters to like famous athletes and try and get autographs.
That's saying you've been on brand your whole life. I mean, I think you still do that through tweets.
Yeah, and that probably 6 to 10, 11 years old, I was diehard Broncos, Avalanche, and then when Carmelo went to the Nuggets, that was like my next Denver team.
You loved that Nuggets 15, that powder blue.
So that late 90s, early 2000s, Broncos, Avalanche, loved them. So then when I saw a tweet of you saying the Avalanche, I'm like, no way, because like I feel like no one else from Buffalo was like that. And this year, Melody, I'm not sure if you know this, I have a Colorado Avalanche future. So I bet them to win the Stanley Cup. So I'm a huge Avalanche fan when the playoffs come back.
So we're all rooting for them. That's good.
Yeah, I mean, and they're like, I mean, right now with how unhealthy that team was back in like February, March, they had the time to get back, time to train, time to get healthy. This squad is going to be filthy heading into the playoffs. And hopefully hockey's back August 1st.
Hopefully, yeah.
You can't spell avalanche without Al.
Yeah, I mean, you can't.
You can't. It's a fact.
How do you guys
confirmed?
How do you guys feel? Do you feel comfortable at hockey? Do you think it's coming back? Do you think these playoffs are going to happen?
Melody, I'll let you go first on this one.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they're going to make it happen. I've always kind of been more on the side of like not just – I wanted them to just shut down the season, just cancel it, and then try to worry more so about how we're going to come into next season without maybe condensing it so much and worrying about all the stuff that's going to have to go into that. Plus with, you know, everything they're all going to be in a hotel room and all that stuff. Like, I just think there's so much that's going to go into it, but they're going to make it work. They're going to figure it out. And it's not going to be a Sabres problem. So
Melody, if there was a content creator bubble and you had to have the same meal for 90 days straight in that bubble, what would you choose?
I'm going chicken parm all day. That's my
chicken parm. That is not messing around.
That's a heavy
for
meal.
90 days straight. 90 days of parm.
Oh yeah, I don't mess around. That's easy. I didn't even think about that one.
Wow.
That's why this girl has an army behind her. 90 days of parm.
Oh yeah.
Hey, listen, I'm a big chicken parm guy too. Melody, where's your favorite place to get that if it's not home cooked?
You know what I like is Sorrentino's. It's on Main Street.
Oh, you don't need to tell me about Sorrentino's on Main Street.
Yeah, I'm biased. They sponsored our softball team for a few years, but
okay.
What softball team is that?
It was through Cheektowaga. It was at Lawson Park.
Okay.
But yeah, we were the Sorrentino's team, obviously, and
okay. What position you play in the softball field? Whatever one they take you.
Yeah, I was outfield. I was usually right center-ish.
Wow, right center. See, you can
No,
get
so
lost out there. That's a big spot.
I was left. I was left center. I love that middle.
Technically,
outfield
the
spot.
rover. It's literally the wild
Yes.
card softball position that doesn't exist in baseball, traditional baseball.
100%.
Oh yeah,
Very cool.
got a lot
Yeah,
of
so-
running out there.
Yeah, I used to play Monday nights, Lawson, or was it Stiglmeyer Park
Yeah.
for Wegman softball Monday nights.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, so
Stiglmeyer was also the site for the Trainwreck kickball tournament we won last year.
Mm.
That was literally yesterday, Al. 1 year anniversary.
wow, could not make it, broken foot, but hopefully we'll be back the next time it happens.
The short, infamous story there is we made it to the finals. Kickball, double elimination, okay? And so it's been a long day. We've all played like 4 kickball games. So we offered to them, we're like, you know what? We'll give you 1.5 runs in the first game, and we'll just play 1 game. And they're like, no, we want to do 2 straight up. We won the first game 2-1, and then the second game 4-3.
Oh man.
Should have taken the extra run. Should have taken the extra run and a half.
Undercity.
It was Undercity big time with Sierra Dillard in the field.
Got to ask you, your favorite Sabres moment all time.
Oh, well,
It could
I
be
mean,
tough. There could be. You clearly have 10 of them.
There's a couple different eras of Sabres hockey too that you could like pull moments from. You have like the
Yes.
05 to 07 era. You have the like 08 to 2012. And then you have like pretending like the last 6 years hasn't happened. Kind of.
Oh, last 6 years, Cal O'Reilly shootout winner in Buffalo against Pittsburgh.
Last 6 years best or last no I'm gonna go last 8 years best moment. Lindy Ruff tribute during the Stars Sabres.
Wow.
that's impressive that you guys were able to just pull moments out of the past however many years, just like that.
Well,
I would actually have to like,
it's
go
like-
through my brain.
Well, looking in the last 7 years, it's like picking from a pantry that's like only got like a half a filled thing of fruit roll-ups and like a half an empty trail mix versus like a whole like BJ's counter where you can just pull anything.
I
EL
don't know if I
fudge
would've pulled
cookies.
the Cal O'Reilly shootout winner out of my head though. That's remarkably impressive.
You remember that one?
I don't know.
No. Oh my God. It's probably more because I'll admit it. I remember that more because I was in the seat. Wasn't watching it on TV. When you're there, you have so many more memories. So
Were
that
you at the seasons?
Yep. Opposite end, they scored. Penguins fans all next to us. It was great.
Melody, not to be ignorant, but do you have like season tickets or anything like that?
No, never got seasons. I always wanted them for a long time, but I had Bill seasons, but no Saber seasons.
So here's the next question. Did either, because I know, Al, your family has seasons. Have either of you ever dabbled heavily in the mini pack game?
So no,
I've gone in the mini pack game a couple times. I've fallen for it. I've fallen for that trap.
no, I've never been a mini pack person. It's just my dad's had seasons now the past like 6-7 years, and typically I buy 10 to 11, 12 games off him. You know, bring a different friend every game, you know, something like that. And actually, Melody, my dad, as of this season, got rid of them. Done.
Wow.
No more Sabres season tickets.
I don't blame him, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, it comes to the time where in February, March, April, I don't even want to go. He can't get rid of them. You can't even pay people to go. It's sad. It's really sad. From, you know, my father's been going there since what, 1975. He was going to those games. Like a diehard Sabres fan, grew up playing hockey, loved it. So it's just not trying to be negative now.
That we got to talk. That's a true splintering of one Buffalo. Considering that I'm pretty positive GM Smokey was the March 2017 Bills Digest like season ticket holder fan of the month, if I recall correctly. So now you have the Bills Sabres. They just lost GM Smokey. They just lost. It's only half Buffalo. It's not one Buffalo for GM Smokey now. It's half Buffalo.
Yeah, and he was
Actually, it's a 2/3 Buffalo because he's a huge UB guy.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where I'll admit it, maybe like half jokingly a few years back, even said stuff about the Bills. Said, "Gosh, Al, I'm not coming back next year." You know what I mean? Like he would get that frustrated, and then they finally broke through. But with the Sabres and ownership and the way the team was being handled, he couldn't take it anymore. He's like, "I am not doing this for another full season."
Well, the thing is about the Bills. I mean, first off, the Bills were at 16, 17 years for that drought.
Yep.
It was like literally, even when they got, you know, Rex Ryan, even when they started, 5-2, 4-1, it just felt like they were never going to get out of it. It literally didn't feel like they were never going to get out of it. And for a lesser pain or a lesser torture, I could say, that's exactly how Sabres fans feel right now. The only difference is you basically have, 4 to 5 times as many games, and it's that they're over about twice the amount of time. So it's a lot more painful.
Time and money. That's what it comes down to. Honestly,
Yeah.
like when you got to go park
Bills,
down there.
you could disengage after the 1 to 4 window. Like if you have a terrible loss, you could like kind of zone it out for like 48 hours. With the Sabres, you're basically like playing again in 48 hours.
That's true. But Melody, so top moments, Sabres. Let's hear it.
Top ones.
Give us a couple.
Let's see. Well, first one that comes to mind was probably like the only playoff game I've ever been to was Game 1 against the Flyers in 2006.
Wow.
So, the Umberger game, the Danny Briere in double overtime. Yeah, that was that. I was I think I was like 11 years old, and that was just epic. Like
I don't know if you guys can see this. Umberger Campbell hit. I was gonna bring that up.
Yeah,
Like
and
talk about that feeling when that happened. I mean, you're just.
oh my
I mean, I wasn't there, and that was one of my top moments as a Sabres fan all time.
yeah, literally, because like from where we were sitting, we were kind of sitting behind one of the goals. So basically, the play went around, and Umberger started skating up the ice. So we had his back was to us, basically. So all you see all of a sudden is Campbell just barreling through him, and it was like, oh my god, the entire play, like that was probably louder than goals that were scored. Like
Yeah.
that was.
I mean, how it ensued was crazy. And just truth be told, like if you've ever played the NHL games, speaking of video games, Umberger literally did like what somebody does when they get like injured in a game, like the little like half like sit up and then like the fall back down. Like he literally did exactly what I was. I think that added to the whole cinematic element of it as well. Like for seeing the guy, like he wasn't even like I mean, all respect to him because obviously he actually came back I think like a year and a half later and like fought Campbell or something. It was ridiculous, but it really added to the moment just how everything played into that perfect hit, the way he reacted, everything like that.
Yeah, that was like, as an 11-year-old, I was just like, I remember my jaw just dropping and like standing. They gave you the little pom-poms, you remember those? And
Yep.
Oh, the white pom. Like, I mean, do we even know like what those look like? Like, I could just see the Sabres making the playoffs again, like no pom-poms.
no, I still have them from that game. They're in a box somewhere, but I would definitely do without the pom-poms. Those were not my favorite. Give me a towel or something, but pom-poms I could definitely do without.
They got to give everybody a jersey like Calgary. Make everybody put everybody in the lower bowl in white or something.
I did like it because that was a whiteout game. Everyone got a white T-shirt. So
Yeah, the whiteout from that game was insane. It was again, it added to it, and that's going to be a part. Even though there will be a Stanley Cup handed out this year, that's going to be something that'll be different about the playoffs. You'll lose that crazy crowd atmosphere.
So, Maniac, do you remember where you were for that game?
Yes, actually, I do. I was driving with my parents because I forget because we were literally driving for like 4 to 6 hours, and I think we may have been going to like Washington D.C. or something like crazy for no reason. Classic family. Sabres are back in the playoffs post-lockout. Let's take a road trip somewhere.
Yeah, and yeah, it's so funny. The only reason I asked that is because that's one of those games where you kind of remember where you were. I was babysitting that night.
You know, I was texting.
I was watching.
I was texting on the T9.
Yep.
You know who texted me? Briere in overtime, which T9, by the way, like that takes a lot of effort. You had to do like the MNO. Like, and it was like 10 O's. Trainwreck loyalist. Efer. So shout out to Efer. He was texting me, letting me know Briere in overtime.
My dad, one of my dad's best friends, who he took to the game. I was watching his kids.
Oh, jeez.
Yep.
No justice in this world.
Nothing.
Brutal.
So, before we get to Maniac's special segment, Melody, I had to bring up the 81 Positives video. That was phenomenal. I've gone through 81 now twice. I mean, just reading some of these are hilarious. The Jack Eichel point streak ended because of the flu. I mean, Maniac, you remember that? Like, it was hilarious. Like, how is that a rule?
Horrific. Like a hit streak ends if you take an off day in the MLB. Like, no chance. Like, of course not. Like, because that makes no sense. Because it literally makes it. It's like let's make a young star. Let's take away one of like the hottest like storylines in the league on a technicality that makes no sense and benefits nobody except a rule maker's like great-great-grandfather. Like, come on.
Thanks, Gary Bettman. Thanks, NHL, for that one.
Thanks a lot, Gary Bettman.
Melody, I know you mentioned the floss cam. Carter Hutton getting his eyes fixed. I mean, this could be a big year for Carter Hutton.
Could be.
He's got 20, baby.
What if it's like a Henry Rollingardner thing where all of a sudden he's got like laser vision and he can like see perfectly when the puck's in his zone? Now we go from having like a goalie that, you know, was below average for like a backup to having like our starter Hutton back. I mean, when starter Hutton came to Buffalo, his first like 10 to 15 games, if I recall, were pretty solid. I'm not even like it was into that November streak. Yep. He wasn't starting all of them, but he was definitely starting more than Ullmark. So yeah, maybe if he can recapture that. I mean, my hopes for the long term obviously aren't good, but that's why we have Linus and that's why we have UPL in the Bacon down there. UPL's our guy.
Oh yeah.
And instead of Carter Hutton being an automatic over bet, what if he turns into an automatic under in 2021? I mean, stop. When he's in net, it was okay. Stop. Oh, all right. When he's in net, it was an automatic over. Everyone was like pound.
That one against the Avalanche was like the most brutal. I think it started as like a 0-0 in the first period, wasn't it too? But and then by the end of the second period, it was like 4-0 or 5-0 or
like
4-1, 5-1. Yeah,
it was bad.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, for certain.
Melody, got to ask you. You mentioned on this on that episode, or not episode, on that song, or not song, whatever it is. Jesus, you said
parody.
You said nachos at the arena. Your favorite food. Is that confirmed? You have any others that you like?
I'm literally 99% going nachos every time I walk in there. And not just like the nachos with the cheese on the side. You got to go to that, one stand where you just get everything in there, like a full on the nachos grande, whatever.
Yep.
We got to talk about that stand. Like, did they implement like lettuce at like certain stands like last year? Did anybody else see that? Like there was like lettuce in the stand, like, which seems a bit odd to me. Like that's all I'm saying. I can pull up the video. I believe and you can ask our friends at Just Edition, but if you had to rate the nachos and a scale of 1 to 10, Melody, from KeyBank Center, what would you rank them?
I definitely give them a solid 9.5, and
whoa.
Only because I like to wear white jerseys to games, and that makes it a little complicated when I got all this stuff on my nachos and it's getting all over my white jerseys. But
so it would be like a 10 if the Sabres were like the Calgary Flames and it was all red.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh.
If I'm wearing a dark blue jersey, it's a 10 for sure. Yeah.
That's breaking news. Naughty Nachos. Get them on the phone. They're gonna want to hear that review.
Another thing, the final thing from this parody. Jesus, I gotta get better at this. You mentioned in the positives, protests of the team's management. Maniac was there.
He was there. That's true. Yeah.
Maniac, how was that? Because we've never really even talked about that. I never made it. You were leading the chance. It's crazy.
Well, you got to realize too that like if you've been in Alumni Plaza, you can put 20 people in Alumni Plaza and make it look pathetic. So there were 20 people there. I tried to frame it as though there were hundreds. I'm fake news sometimes. I'm sorry. Like when I want to be, I'm fake news. If it benefits me in a way that won't affect anyone else, I'm gonna be fake news. So when I reported that Beauvais
hundreds of people,
when I said hundreds of people, but it was probably like 20 to 23. Like was the honest guess.
What was the best chant you started?
The best chant I started was, "We love the team and just want to see fight. Also, please get the players' names right," because they had gotten the jerseys incorrect. It was unfortunate. Unfortunate.
My God.
Amazing.
And
but
the people tweeting you about like, there's no one there. Why are you doing this?
Well, let's just and Melody's seen this on the internet. I mean, let's call a spade a spade. Let's call a Jason Pominville goal in overtime. A Jason Pominville goal in overtime. Hating on the internet is very easy. It's a lot easier to hate on the internet than to do anything constructive. Just plain and simple. I've hated on the internet before. I will hate on the internet again. Like I'm not saying that I'm innocent of this, but it is much easier to just be like, this sucks. You guys are lame. What losers? Than to actually come up with a sign, go down to Alumni Plaza in February when it's freezing, and, you know, support, like, in a way, in your mind, support your team. That's all I'm going to say.
Melody, how do you deal with the haters? Because obviously you've had a ton of success over the past 7-8 months. And when you have success, what does that equal? Hate. It's it's just natural. That's how life works. How do you deal with it?
I mean, the funny thing is about my channel is that most of the hate comes from non-Sabres fans. Like, I don't think I've really gotten any hate from actual Sabres fans. So, like, if a Leafs fan doesn't like what I'm doing, I'm not going to lose sleep over it. So, I don't know. I just, like, in the beginning, I'm not going to lie, it did used to bother me a little bit when I would see people kind of calling me not so nice names. But now I'm just like, oh, that's cute that you felt the need to waste your time.
Seriously.
There you go.
It does come to an equation where you're like, wow, that person, like, went in, clicked, typed all that, and, like, said it. Like, and they cared enough to do that versus doing nothing.
Yeah.
Plain and simple. That's how it adds up.
Yeah, and hey, Maniac, it's like I told you in the past. I'll tweet a bet. What do? Click the favorite button when I lose. I love the classic, like, right when it goes final, favorite.
This is a plain and simple. You could hit a 5-item parlay. You'll get a retweet and 4 likes. You could say a money line that's minus 300 and have it lose, and you'll get 15 likes, 20 responses, a couple quote bombs.
Yep.
You'll be donezo. Your brand will be buried.
Yeah. So life moves on. Stay positive. That's what it's all about.
Stay positive.
Time for your segment.
Stay positive. You call it my segment, Al. It's a pitch. We're pitching ourselves to Melody, pitching me. She's got these vocals. There it goes. She's basically an American Idol on the Buffalo scale. She's getting it done.
Yes.
Nobody doing as much kind of thing. Incredible voice. I mean, that's the thing, too. Like, let's not face it. Great voice. So now it's time.
Ooh.
We've got it coming in here. So obviously, Melody's killing the game. She's got the parody. So we got to get up-to-date storylines. Obviously, she's already covered the Eichel trade rumors, which I refuse to address from this point forward for at least 72 hours. I will not talk about them. I will not acknowledge the possibility that he could ever be anything but a Buffalo Sabre. I need a sip. Okay. First song coming up, big storyline. What's going to happen with Jack Reinhart? Or sorry, Jack Reinhart, Sam Reinhart. And here we go. Can you feel me? Can you feel me, Melody? Build up. Kevin Adams needs to turn around right now. He needs to get back in that negotiating room. He needs to sign Sam Reinhart. He needs to ink the deal. He needs to keep Jack's best friend in Buffalo. And you know what the analytic people say? Every now and then we read a chart. Every now and then we read a chart. Fans need you now tonight. And they need you more than ever. And if we war on a path that's right, we'll be on a war path forever. And we can take it on night by night. Because our playoff run would be all together. We can Sabres take it to the end of the line. You can play like a sword, cutting up defenses all the time. All of the time. Fans don't know what to do and they're always in the dark. We're living in a Twitter world giving off Instagram sparks. Instagram sparks. We really need you tonight. Forever's gonna start tonight. Sign him, Kevin. Sabre season gonna start off. Once upon a time I was falling in love, but now I'm only falling apart. Nothing Sabres Twitter can do. Total eclipse of Reinhardt. What do you think about that one? What do you think about total eclipse of Reinhardt? I think that is the next 100,000 bomb.
Oh my God, I'm starting to get worried that you're gonna start taking all my fans and just.
Well, we're gonna combine our armies. We're gonna combine our armies.
That was genius. I love it.
Okay. Well, you know, can I quote you on that in my resume?
You can, absolutely.
Okay, we got that going. All right, we got another one going on here. We got a little bit one more. That one was devastating. This one's a little bit more positive, okay? Okay. It's about a certain guy, you know, has a special place deep down in all of us. It's a very long introduction to a sweet child of mine, so I should probably just talk through it, I guess. All right, here we go. All right. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. He's got a shot that it seems to me reminds me of blue and gold memories where everything was fresh as the alumni plaza sky. Now and then when I see his face, it takes me away to that special place. And if I stare too long, I'd probably go on Twitter and cry.
Yes.
Oh, 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 sweet idol of mine. Oh, 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 sweet idol of mine. All right, we're gonna do a second verse for this one, but we got to speed up a little bit. All right, here we go. You're with us. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Let's go. He's got eyes of the bluest skies, and if they thought of rain, I hate to look into those eyes and see that John Warrow had caused them an ounce of pain. His analytics remind me of a warm, safe place where, as a child, I'd hide and pray for the Thunder and the Sabakas to sign a contract disclosure and pass me by. Oh, 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 sweet idol of mine. Oh, 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 sweet idol of mine. All right, what do we think? Is that top 10 or is that a top 5?
Oh, that's one. That's number 1.
Let's go.
Oh, stop it, Melody. Be honest. We need some feedback. Maybe
Yeah, we need constructive criticism.
Yeah.
We need constructive criticism.
Hey, I mean, I like the John Warrow line a lot. That was funny.
I mean, let's face it. The guy sells. You can say whatever you want about him, but he sells.
Sure, of course. No, that was you just come up with that? You just do that for this?
We've had that for a bit, but we were saving it for our A team, for our A guest.
Oh, excellent work. That's just A+.
Okay, well maybe we'll get someone who can actually do the vocals if we can find someone, and we'll figure it out.
That is hilarious. I love it.
It's part of the constructive process. Sometimes a song starts that it's going to be Beyonce's, and then the next thing you know, it's Kesha's, and then all of a sudden Rihanna wears an outfit, but it's by Lady Gaga. You never know.
Yeah. Hey, you never know.
Maniac, what was the song we did years ago? One of the first ones.
UB?
No, about the Bills, like Rex Ryan, Russ Brandon, Pagula.
Now you're just a head coach that I used to know.
Yes, thank you. I was hoping you had that.
You didn't go for it on 4th down and stuff like this. Yep. Now you're just a head coach that I used to know.
Oh, such a good. What song was that?
Gautier, somebody that I used to know.
The Kernanchel, love that song.
Seriously, shout out Kernanchel on that one.
Alrighty, folks. I mean, Melody, Maniac, it's time for shout outs. And I don't know who's starting.
Melody, you got one or you want me to go first?
You go first. Go ahead.
Okay. I am going to shout out in this regard Reed Ferguson. And I know you're saying, Maniac, this guy doesn't need a shout out. He's a millionaire. He's playing professional football. He just got married. He's got eternal bliss. Literally is on his honeymoon right now, technically. He's honeymooning. Why does this guy need a shout out? 35 overall in Madden. Madden rating people, you ought to be ashamed of yourselves. Last year, Reed Ferguson, when he snapped the ball on a punt, Bajorquez never had to move once. Perfect snaps every time. Perfect snaps, perfect shaved head, perfect beard. Deserves at least a 50. Shout out to Reed Ferguson.
Yeah, wait. First of all, how do you give a long snapper a 35? Are they
like?
not,
does he even know how to run? Like what? Like what? Like I would just assume he falls. Like if he went to go run.
Like if you're a long snapper, you have one job. So if you have one job and you're successful at it, you should be above a 90, right, on Madden? Like, yeah,
Yeah,
sorry.
but it's like weird because
Agility.
if they make you like a 90 overall Madden, you basically have to be comprised of like 90 agility, 90 awareness. Like, you know, like so it's weird. But yeah, they could obviously treat our guy Reed a little better. And I'm not gonna stand for it. I'm sitting for it right now.
Yeah. That's all right, Melody. Let's hear it.
Oh my goodness. You know what? I'm gonna give my shout out to Cal O'Reilly because I forgot he existed, and now I remember that he existed, and I hope he's doing well. So I'll give it to Cal O'Reilly.
Cal O'Reilly, like that moment. Yeah, I'll still never forget it. Where I was far down in the shootout to win it against the Penguins as like what, probably a plus 185 underdog.
Definitely plus AR. You probably had the minus 1.5 for the Penguins.
And I got to give a shout out. I'm not going to call him a Melody competitor because they both put out good content. Timmy and Cheek to Vegas. Wait till you see what this guy's done. We give you guys both credit for the firing of Botterill. And that's a whole nother, that could be a 30-minute show of who's the one who got Botterill fired or who had the most to do with it.
We should do an true Buffalo story. Who got Buffalo fired? I mean, this guy had job security up the wazoo.
Yep.
I heard a rumor that he was going to go to Adventure Landing to celebrate, and all of a sudden he's filling out Pink Slip.
Yeah, Melody's dropping what, 69, 70,000 views on that video. Timmy just comes out with a couple bombs, but wait till you see Melody what he's coming out with tomorrow. He's made a couple purchases. He's ready to rock.
Oh, I can't wait. That's some quality content right there. I love that.
Yeah. So we're gonna keep ripping it. Hopefully you keep doing the same because like I said, Melody, you've been doing a great job. Follow her on Twitter and YouTube at Melody N. Martin.
Let's go. Get her to 10K on YouTube. Get her to 2K on Twitter. It's a joke that you're not following her. It's a joke you're not following her.
Absolute joke. And you know what, guys? This train never stops. And you know what, Melody, how do we end this show?
This train never stops.
Good night now.